I think we got the audio issue fixed. Yes? No? I got a couple of you in here. Sounds okay? Hey, Candy! What's going on? You ready for this weekend? I'm ready for this weekend. I need this weekend. Probably. I think so. It looks promising. Yes, ma'am. You turn that wind off in Wyoming for me. I will say the video quality is probably crap for those of you who are in here watching. Where I'm at, signal is awful. The phone has almost nothing, and I'm running off of the internet of the truck, which is supposed to be better, and it is, but it's still not good. So our video quality isn't going to be great, but it's just the inside of my filthy ass truck. So all right, so this is just a Q&A. As you guys know, I'm in the middle of a 34. I've got absolutely nothing to talk to you guys about personally because nothing happened. I pulled in yesterday afternoon, and the truck hasn't moved. It's been hot, it's been unpleasant. I don't idle my truck, you all know that. So this live feels great because the air conditioning is on and I'm very happy. I'm hoping that with putting the word out in the video yesterday and putting the Instagram post today twice, that maybe we'll get a little bit more activity in here. Again, you know I've only got a little over 1,000 subscribers, and about half of them watch the videos, if that, based on the analytics page. So for those of you who are watching, great. This is completely, like I said, Q&A. For the most part, you guys are running what happens in this video, what I cover, what I talk about, as is most of my Q&As or my live videos. This is the time that I give to you, where, you know, maybe you put a question in a comment and I didn't see it, or maybe you sent an email and I misunderstood what you were asking and I didn't answer it. So if you have any questions, any unanswered, any whatever, now is where you get your voice. I'm watching the live stream down here on my tablet so I can see your comments and respond. I mean, obviously there's a bit of a delay, so if I don't respond to your comment immediately, trust that I can see it. And the way I have it set up, the comments don't go away down here, so they stay the whole time. They do go away on the phone. That's why I do this. I have seen that, Terry. I haven't taken the time to thoroughly read it over and over and over and make sure I'm deciphering it right. So for the time being, I'm just sticking to the old rules to make sure I don't get in trouble until I can thoroughly go through it and 100% understand and know that there's no way a DOT officer can take it a different way and I get burned. Just because Horizon's policy is any logbook violation, immediate delease, you're done. Fuel mileage. I had a lot of wind. It's showing 9, a little over, almost 10 miles a gallon, and that's with wind. Typically with these bigger ones, if Mother Nature is being friendly, I'm somewhere around the 11 mark, low 10 to 11. Yes, Terry, thank you. I am learning how the algorithm works, and I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit, as you know, as most of you know, and if you don't, you should. I have 2 channels, and I have finally reached the point where my other channel, I don't watch any RV transport. The only transport period that I watch in there is I watch some of the high mileage helper. I've seen a couple nomadic couples, and I watched Tow Piglet, and back when he was doing videos regularly, I watched Dream Inspired. But for the most part, either I'm not getting notified of that these people are uploading, or they just aren't uploading. The only person who shows up remotely regularly is Tow Piglet, and it's just reached the point where I'm being suggested to watch this channel on my other account. So apparently I'm doing something right in the algorithm and starting to grow. So yay. Hotshot Dave did a video about it. It meaning the algorithm. I think I saw that video from him. Gotta stay hydrated. I've been dying today. It was in the 90s here. It still is. It's still 92 at 8 o'clock at night, and it was miserable because I won't idle my truck. So I just had the windows down and smelling these guys' generators and having their trucks idle. It's been a rough day. And then to top it off, I pulled in last night going, yeah, I'm gonna get a shower because I have shower credits at Pilot. This is great. Walk up and have my bag on my back ready to go, and showers are down nationwide for Pilot Flying J. Okay. Get up this morning. The sign's gone. I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna get a shower. I'm using the restroom. I hear them call out shower numbers. I'm like, yes, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit later in the evening. I'll take it right before the I go live. Grab my bag, I walk in there, and they have to sign back up. Showers are down nationwide. So hopefully I'll get one tomorrow because I need one. Joseph, thank you. That means I know a huge majority of my subscribers came from Tow Piglet. You know, he plugged me twice. I guess if you do something crazy, you're gonna get noticed, and buying a $100,000 truck to haul RVs, I guess, checks that box. I'm just trying to put the information out there, Joseph. I've said it many times. When I was looking at getting into this, every single thing I saw was negative. RV sucks, don't do RVs, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a couple months, get my foot in the door, jump over to Hotshot. And to clarify, because I get asked all the time, that is the only reason I have a 450. The only reason I have this truck is because I was going through RVs for a couple months months and jump over to hot shot. And I wanted the 450 to be able to haul as much weight as possible. And I love it. I really am happy. We Boost range extender. Is that a cell phone thing? Not so much. I mean, some people use flatbed, yes, but a majority of them do a full bed delete. And that's because, well, that's about 50-50. The guys that are doing the flatbed and the guys that are doing the full bed delete. Now, the reason for the full bed delete is now legally you're a tractor and you don't fall under that 75-foot law. The benefit of that, which is something that I have considered, I'm still looking at doing, I'm really hesitant to spend another $15,000, $20,000 for a trailer in hopes that it pays out. But you get that trailer and now you do Horizon's flatbed division. So you're hauling 2 or 3 trailers at a time, making $230 or $250 a mile, which is, well, simple math, basically pretty close to double what I'm making right now. So would that trailer pay for itself? Yes, if I can stay busy. I've ran into probably 4 or 5 flatbed guys and talked to them, and most of them say that they stay real busy. So I'm still looking at it. I'm really leery, because by the time you buy the 15 or 20,000, depending what you find, where, you know what I mean, trailer, and then you pay for the bed delete, because then you have to get all that plating to make your frame not exposed, and you have to get mud flaps, and you have to get all new brackets for all your lights, do all the wiring, and 99% of that I would do myself. None of it's real major, but it's just money. It's a matter of throwing that much more money into this company when I'm new, when I'm essentially still learning the ropes. It's nerve-wracking would be a good word. So I'm just not quite to the point where I'm going to pull that trigger yet, but it is absolutely still on the burner. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that, Terry. I wonder if that would tie into the vehicle itself, since my vehicle generates its own Wi-Fi. I wonder if I could put it on that, because I use that more than anything else. Now, I've talked to a few of you personally, and I've said that, you know, there's a good chance that once this truck wears out, the next one's going to be a much smaller truck. And it's hard to say that and know that it's 100% true. That is my plan. However, if I get into the flatbed, no, I'll stay right where I am. I'll new motor, new trans this, or buy a new one of these, or whatever. We'll figure it out. Additionally, there are some benefits to this truck that you don't get on the smaller ones. You know, the wide track front end is a big one. That thing has come in so handy on multiple occasions, and with and without a trailer. You know, I've pulled this into some tight spots where people go, "How are you gonna get through this?" I said, "Well, this has a different front end," and I get through, and wow. Actually, Toe Piglet was one of them. When he came, he was doing I think it was just a 10-hour in Boise, and I happened to be home, and just so we didn't have to deal with his trailer, I said, you know, "Hey man, I'll come pick you up, run you down to the store." And he saw it and was impressed. It's definitely got its benefits. So I don't know. That's the downside to this business, is there's a million roads, And not necessarily any of them are bad. It's which one is best for you. And I would say that kind of stems back to that video I did with Chris and Jolie that I mentioned a couple videos ago. It was long bed, short bed, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, ton and a half. What do I need? Or something like that. And the thumbnail is the 3 trucks lined up in a parking lot at night, so it's dark, and they all have their lights on. I don't know, dig through the videos and find it, and it kind of goes over all of that stuff where you can kind of pick out what's best for you. Another big bonus is the 19.5 tires. They last longer. You know, I got 97,000 out of my first set. This set that's on here now is half price, so we'll see how long they last. I've got 34,000 on them right now. So far, so good. Honestly, I think if I can get to 70 out of these, I'll be happy. You know, at half price, I'm not expecting that 97,000 again. If it happens, great, but I'm not expecting it for half the price. We'll see. Chris, how's it going? Well, my 34 is almost up. That's how it's going, and that makes me happy, because all day today I have sat here. I mean, realistically, I was going to go a couple more hours tomorrow in park, so I didn't lose a whole lot yesterday, but I haven't moved all day today, which means I'm sitting here with a trailer on the back, and I'm not making any money. I'm wasting money. So this truck stop is great. I love this one. It has an actual real restaurant, not like a Denny's or whatever, but it's a real restaurant with real food. It's good. And if you're gonna do a 34, it's not a bad place. It's not a bad place at all. So I've eaten at the restaurant twice, and I have been sitting here just drinking water all day. So I'm running back and forth buying water or whatever else I want to drink. So I'm just spending money, and I'm not making any money to come back in, and I'm not out spending time with my family. So I'm gonna do this 34. I'm gonna drive for a day and a half, and I'm gonna do another 34. So that's how it's going. Okay, Terry, thank you. Joey, yes to both of those. So where I live is a little bit advantageous, and that's because there's 4 yards close to me. Now, as I've said before, once I pick up my first load, that plays no difference to where I live. You know, if you lived in Arizona, your disadvantage is getting up to those 4 yards. But once you get there, that advantage that I had from the beginning is over. Now we're all running on the same load board, and I got that load going wherever it's going, and you have your load going wherever you're going, and we're no different. The only advantage I have is just when I do my 34s at home, which most of them are, I then reset at home, and I'm right next to those yards. That's my only advantage. Now, it comes out more into your planning, and that's what I do. I know that I can go to Indiana and I can get a $2,600 load to go to Boise, or I can get a $2,900 load to go to California, Oregon, or Washington. Well, California might be 3,000 or 3,100, depending where in California, because it's a very vertical state. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna make $400 more. For me, that $400 isn't really worth it, because I know that trip out of Indiana, that's my go home trip. That's my spend time with the family trip. So I can make an extra $400 and spend a whole extra day plus a little more, which typically I don't have. Normally when I drop these ones in Boise, and by the time I get home, I have less than an hour left on my cycle. So it's not worth it to me to get that extra couple $100, which realistically, you're going to burn 100 to 150 in diesel to get it delivered. And then you're going to burn 50 to 100 to get home, depending where you had to drop at. Well, now you've cut that 400 down to 200 at best. And to me, an extra day and a half on the road isn't worth $200. You know what I mean? So what I do is I grab from wherever, one of those 4 yards, I want a load going east, and I find whatever is the furthest going east, and I snag that load. Sometimes it's Vegas, which isn't very, very far, but Vegas pays very well, and it gets you close enough to the center of the country where if something pops up, you can grab it and make your chain. Now, once I leave my house with that load coming out of those 4 yards, all I do is east. I'm not pushing west at all. I hope that makes sense. I might be backwards. I don't know which way the camera's flipped, but y'all know what I'm talking about, east and west. So I'm gonna keep pushing east, and now I'll do north and south. And you guys have seen it countless times where I'm in. I dropped in. Is that Colorado or Arizona or something? I think it was Arizona, and then I took off, and I grabbed one in Nebraska, I think, and then I took it over to Missouri, and then from Missouri I went to Indiana, and then I went back. So I make that loop. I'll ping pong north south as long as I'm pushing east. I don't care. Get to Indiana, and there's always something going to Idaho out of Indiana. No, I don't want to say always. I think twice I've got on and there wasn't something, and in that case I just do a reset and wait for something to come up. Easy day. So very long answer to your question, Joey. I hope that covered the bases you were looking for. Chris down in Texas, Illinois to Texas. Hell yeah. Called Enterprise. They do the 450s for 25 cents a mile. I'm not sold on the Enterprise thing. I see a lot of great things about it, and I don't know. Again, I'm new to this, so take my opinion as that, someone who's new. I don't think it's a bad program. I'm just not sure it's great. You know, I see a lot of people saying it's great. I see people saying it's horrible, and I don't know. A question I get a lot is, how much do you deadhead? Well, I sat down and I looked it up today. To date, I have just a hair over 91,000 loaded miles with Horizon. That's 10 and a half months. I have 130,000 on the truck right now. I started with right about 7,000, so call it 123. So 91 to 123 is 22, right? No, my math is wrong. 32. 32,000? Yeah? $91,01,11. Yeah, 32,000. So I have 32,000 miles of deadhead. God, that's a lot. All right, so I've got 91 loaded and 32 deadhead. Oh, that's not counting this load that I'm on right now. That's why. Okay, so it's going to be more along the lines of 32 and 93, which is a little better. Anyway, it's a pretty good deadhead to not deadhead ratio. Is it great? No. Now, with that being said, there have been times where I have chosen a longer deadhead because of a specific load. I had a time constraint because, as you guys know, I am a part of an MC, and we do a lot of rides, and we do events and charity work and whatnot. So if we have something on the calendar that we're doing this ride or this event or this whatever, I will do everything in my power to get there in time, even if that means sacrificing a little bit of money in deadhead so that I can get to this load that'll get quicker. So realistically, if you're smart about the load board, you could cut that 23, or not 23, that 32, you could probably cut that down to like 29. Oh, I lost way more than 400 today, Terry. I mean, typically, if I'm loaded, I'm making right about $1,000 a day. Now, I had 0 today, and I spent, what, 30, 50? I spent probably close to $100 in the last day and a half in food and drink and what. Now, A, truck stop crap is really expensive, and B, I have everything I need in here for tomorrow now, so that's part of why it was that much. Okay. Good, really, Roger. Indiana's the main hub. Right now we're 500, well, not right now. This morning when I checked, because I had one of you ask me, we're 570 something loads out of Indiana alone. That's not counting all the stuff on the reload board. No, we are not turning the truck off. That's not counting all the stuff on the reload board that is over there in the east somewhere. Maryland, New York, Jersey, the Carolinas, whatever. No, it does not cost to upload these. Actually, I had one of you ask me this just a couple hours ago. So all you need is a name for the channel and an email address, and you can start a YouTube account. And it doesn't cost you anything to upload. And once you cross 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which doesn't sound like very much, but it is, then you become monetized. And I'm not making a killing off this. I think I'm averaging right around $70 a month is what I'm getting off YouTube. But I didn't start this channel to make a ton of money. I started it because, like I said, there was that huge negativity out there about the RV transport business, and maybe Horizon is just one of those places that's different. I've had a lot of people talk to me, well, I work for Synergy, or I work for Indiana Transport, or I work for this, or I work for that, and it sounds like maybe Horizon has better options, or what I'm gathering from these drivers is that they can only pick up in Indiana, and then wherever they deliver to, they deadhead home or they deadhead back to Indiana or whatever. Now, that very well could be untrue. I have seen people saying stuff about Horizon that I know is not factual. That's just their experience because they did things a certain way. Yes, truck stops are very expensive to live off of. I hate doing it. Walmarts are great. Walmarts are cheap. Carlos, what's going on, man? St. Mary's, Washington, no service on phone and full service in place. Wilson is on van. Okay, cool. So it sounds like it's pretty dang effective. That's awesome. I do not have a mini fridge in my truck. I'm a little bit bigger of a fella, and I'm a little bit furry, so I keep the truck temperature at like 65 all day, which is the drinks don't get warm. The main reason I don't have a mini fridge is I don't have room. I'm looking at getting a second toolbox in the bed, which would allow me to take all of the tools that are behind this seat, which is to about here, and put all of them in the bed, and that would free up room for something like that. At which point, and yeah, I get one of those cigarette lighter cool box. Yes. Cigarette lighter coolers, and I could store foods in there, which, yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I could eat healthier and I would save a ton of money. Absolutely. Now, 22 people. All right. Most of you ain't saying nothing though. Come on, ask me these questions. Let's do this. You guys control this video. You know, typically you get whatever I feed you. When I do these lives, that's your opportunity to control the topics, to run what we talk about. 90%, like I'm sure you guys have been seeing, 90% of what I've talked about is coming off of the chat. I hate you. I hate you, Chris. Nope, we don't. You know, I've got my my opinions on things in the world, and that's not what this channel's for. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just that's not what this channel's about. I've got a lot of Facebook friend requests from a lot of you, and I haven't accepted them for that reason. Like, you know me from this channel, and I keep completely neutral, and that's, you know, no bad on you for asking that, Michael. Like, not at all. It's just I don't want that to come here. That's why I started the second channel, not for political stuff, but YouTube doesn't like freedom seed delivery devices, and that's one of my very passionate beliefs, so we don't talk about it here, and I started that channel to move all that stuff over there. You must have jumped in right after we covered that, Carlos. It's something I'm considering. It's an expensive purchase to get going, so I'm back and forth weighing options and kind of going through numbers and whatnot. Good to know, Brian. I haven't even looked at those. What's the what's the price on those? Does anyone know? I haven't even looked. Right now, I have that 40-foot Montana that you guys saw in the video day before yesterday. $120 to last a year. It's not terrible, I guess. I'd probably save more than that in food. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal to have a truck before you try and get started on. Daryl, usually no. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Had a message that was covering the screen. It was bugging me. In fact, I'll bet he's in here that made that message. Do you have to wash the trailer? Usually no, Daryl. A couple do, but they typically have the ability to wash on site, and Horizon reimburses you for the wash. So I guess it gets washed, but I have no idea. I drop it off and they wash it at some point after I leave. I've only had, I think, one unit that didn't have wash on site, and I had to go get it washed before I dropped it. No, Carlos, I am really considering getting into the flatbed. It's just, you know, I find a good deal on a trailer, say 12, 13,000. I'm still gonna be 16, 17,000 by the time I get it set up, and that's just a lot of money on a gamble. Great question, Michael. So, I have covered everything that's gone wrong with the truck in videos, but let's do a quick recap. At about 30-ish, and I'm just guessing on all these miles, trying to remember things, about 30,000, my air conditioning quit working. Turns out it was a sensor inside the dash and the airbox. Replaced it under warranty. All is good. I had the Ford Death Wobble. They changed the steering damper out. In the old ones, it was a one-way valve, and the new ones, it's a two-way valve, so there's resistance both ways. Haven't had the Death Wobble since. And then this one has the amp. I think they're amp brand. I'm not sure, but the up-down running boards that when you open the door. The driver's side one kind of quit working, but I guess if you have it full of road salt and road lava rock, they kind of jam up. Got the pressure washer in there, cleaned it real good, and they've worked fine ever since. Other than that, I have had zero issues with this truck. You know, Joey, I don't think I would. If I couldn't keep loaded, if my bad weeks were normal, I don't think I'd be doing this. I think this truck would be for sale and I'd find another job. Or I would take my original plan, buy a 40-foot and start hotshot. Is there a fuel surcharge? Well, I will be completely honest with you. I have heard that term, and I don't know what it means. Carlos, when it dies, I'll run this into the ground. Yes, he can start his drive away. I've actually had a couple of my subscribers that do that. One of them, she started doing the drive away thing, and she's picked up on Instagram and starting to post pretty regularly on there. And I think she's eventually going to move into YouTube. She's not real happy. Now, granted, when I first started, I screwed up a bunch of loads and cost myself a bunch of money. So I figured it out. Maybe she will, and she'll start making a lot more and be happy. I don't know. Daryl, talk to me about this fuel surcharge. I know how all of the fuel works at Horizon. I'm just not sure exactly what you mean by fuel surcharge, because that's not a term that I have heard anyone say or that I have bothered to look up. While we're waiting for that, question I get, not a lot, but fairly regularly: how do you find the fuel discount, and how do you know how much the discount is? And I've got it in comments a few times, and I got it in an email today, and that's why it's fresh on my head. If you start working for Horizon or any other company that provides you with an EFS card, ComData is probably a little bit different, but those are the two major ones. If you have the EFS card, you have the EFS app. You open the app, and in the top left, I don't know which way this is showing. Top left. That's what it looks like. Yeah. There's a drop-down menu, and in that drop-down menu, there's an option for price locator. In that, it shows you what you're going to pay at each truck stop for fuel. I did not know that was a discount until I started paying attention. I just looked for the green one, because the green one is the cheapest one in your path that you have come across at that point. So if you start where you are and then pan your way whichever direction you're traveling down the interstate, you'll see one turn green. That's your cheapest. So I pull in there and I get fuel. And I was looking at the pump, and it said it was like $3 something. I don't know. It was $1.80 less on the truck stop, or the EFS app was $1.80 less than what it said at the pump. And then when I got my text, it said you were charged X amount of dollars. You saved X amount of dollars, and the you saved was higher than what I was charged. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Oh, no, they do not do a fuel surcharge. You are 100%. That's the only thing you're liable for is your truck maintenance, and your fuel. If it goes into your truck, it's your responsibility. If it's a trip permit or a toll road or whatever, you're reimbursed. I have thought about driving semi, Roger. I'm not sure if I'm going to. That was a plan that I was actively searching for a while, and I don't think so. Load board in the middle of winter. The only time it slowed down for me was right around Christmas. Like the week before Christmas was awful. That was the worst week I've had since I started this job. You know, Michael, you're not the first person to tell me that. So, actually, I'm probably going to be in trouble for this too. The president of my chapter, the guy I'm going to go see Friday, has asked me 3 times to pick up pork tenderloin from Iowa. So, 3 times I forgot. Truck paper, use 53 ships. And that's kind of, I think that's where I would go if I was going to do this, just to see if it was worth it. Ricky, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you on one of these in a while. See, and that's the reason. So, well, not the reason. My big hang up with going to the ship she trailer or the semi or the whatever is when I'm empty, when I don't have a load on, I'm getting 20 miles to the gallon. 16 if there's wind. If I got that ship she trailer, when I'm empty, I'm still dragging a 10,000 pound trailer behind me. You know, so my fuel mileage would be what it is right now, and then when I'm hauling, it's going to be worse than it is right now. So then I've got trailer, you know, my insurance doesn't go up because I'm dragging the trailer all the time. I'm sure most of you have seen the trailer expense debacle that Toe Piglet went through last month. I don't know. I'm not saying no, I'm just hesitant. See, there you go, Chris. You're empty as my loaded. And, I mean, granted, you can haul a lot more weight than I can, so that opens up a lot of doors for you, but when we're paying for our own fuel, damn. Okay, that is higher than what I've heard from most people loaded. I keep hearing in the 4s for most people when they're loaded. Dropped. Yeah, Ricky, I do. I just have way too much truck for this. But if I step down and I don't have a 450, the big old dually and the giant monster that this thing is, I can't call it the Streetwalker, so what do we name the new truck? Roger. I had 3. The first one is dead, 2844, ground electronics repair. Started out in an infantry unit, got switched to a com battalion, didn't like it, switched over to a combat arms, 1812 tanker. And then there was always the billet of master gunner, but while I was in the master gunner school, they created its own MOS code for that, which is 1867. So it sounds like the Freightliners are the way to go if you're going to do a semi. Now, most of the guys I've been talking to are running Volvos, so maybe that's why they're getting that awful mileage. A few are private party, Daryl. Most of them are dealer transfers or sold units. Like some dude buys a unit and then doesn't want to haul it, so has it delivered to his house, which I don't understand why you would buy a camper if you're not gonna haul a camper. Both are horrible on fuel. Okay, so that's why I've been getting those numbers then when I talk to people. Charles, I am in Grand Island, Nebraska. You'd be surprised how many people do that, Daryl. I can't tell you how many personal campers I've hauled where the guy show up and the guy's just like, yeah, I don't want to haul it. Now, these are people that live in them. So they live in these units. That is their house. And they just move. And they don't have a truck big enough. So I guess that makes sense. But I don't know. You are correct, Terry. Chris, but nothing looks like a Pete. They have that presence, you know what I mean? Like the 389s, they look right. Now I can't speak to any experience because I've been in a semi. You know, I was in Dream Inspired's, hung out with him for a little bit, but I've never driven one, so I don't know. I think Macs look really cool, but I've heard they're awful. All right on, Charles. Good for you. Another one on the road. Maybe I'll catch you sometime. Daryl, there's not an average. You know, I can get on the load board right now, and there's loads coming out of Indiana going everywhere in the country. And the reloads are, I've had reloads that were 2,000 miles. I've had reloads that were 200 miles. There's not an average. It's all over the place, man. Mechanical issues and luxurious. Is that Pete you're talking about, or Mac? Clay, you're not going to make anything trying to do this as a weekend warrior, man. You're not. Money's not there unless you dedicate. I average over 11,000 miles a month to make this profitable. Okay. And that's kind of what I've heard from other people too, Chris, is that they're amazing, but they're awful. I see a lot of people that own campers and look for someone else to haul them. There you go. It's exactly my point, Eugene. Which, perfectly honest, to be perfectly honest with you, do that. Uh, my plan is in 3 years, I'll be living in a camper. At 3 years, the kids are graduated, and wife's just gonna be there. Actually looking at trying to get her into this too. Not CDL, just get her in a 3/4 ton and do whatever trailer she can find that keeps her under 26. And we'll just live in a camper and do that for a couple years. And not a permanent thing, not at all. No. I will own a house. I want a house with at least 3 acres by a river. Life goals. Aw, Charles retracted his message. Fifth wheels pay a little more. I prefer hooking them up. They're way easier to hook up. I personally believe they pull extraordinarily better. I'm having a hard time with words. They pull way better, and I like them. And when it's snowing, all your weight is on your drive axle, which is also good. Are we back? Are we back? All right, I think we're back. I think. Please let me know if this is working, because my iPad is showing maybe. Yes, the 500,000 mile warranty is great. Joey, no, I do not stay at rest areas. I mean, I have. I do everything in my power to avoid it if possible. Hey, right on, Herb. $1.50 a mile is pretty good. Daryl, you have to be 25,000 miles loaded to dispatch yourself. Eugene, I am looking at a toy hauler. Those come with 3 AC units. Thank you for the intel. Chris, I happen to have an in as far as the dealership and getting things repaired, so that wouldn't be an issue for me. Again, I have a good network. That's why I do these lives. I never have a method or anything to talk about on my lives. My live videos are for you guys to get your questions out. That's it. I don't ever come on here with an agenda of what I want to talk about. yes, you still pick your loads. So you can do it any way you want. Hey, I want to go from here to here, or I want to do this. Call your dispatcher, email, whatever. What I found was the best way to do it was get on the load board, find the one I want, hit the button to expand the load, and then screenshot it. And I would just, hey, good morning. Here's my name, here's my driver number. I saw this load that I would really like picture below, and I would attach the screenshot to the email, and I'm dispatched within a couple minutes. Michael, I don't know about the lunch or dinner. It's just a personal thing. I have an issue with people paying for things for me. It's a weird thing, but if I happen to be catching a 34 down there, we'll grab a beer or something. What am I looking at? I'm looking at. I really like the Carbons or the Raptors. I did I did a Momentum not long ago that I really liked on the inside, and then, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure what my truck is doing. I just hauled that Fusion last week, and that thing was amazing on the inside. I really wish that I had time to get you guys. As far as why, build quality. I hear pretty good things about the Raptor and the Carbon. I hear great things about the Momentum. The Fusion I don't know anything about, but I liked what I saw on the inside. The commercial, Daryl, the commercial truck insurance through Horizon, is that what you're asking about? I pay $340 something a month. It auto comes out it's right around $340. Now again, everyone's going to be a little bit different, so that's why I don't. This is what you will pay for insurance. No, this is what I pay. Everyone's driving record is different. Everyone's truck is different. That's what I pay. I think my truck is doing a regen. I'm fairly certain. Okay, good to know you, Gene. Thank you. So as you guys saw a little bit ago, remember how I said the internet is awful here? Dispatchers, I don't know. You are assigned a dispatcher, and that's who handles you with every load. When I first started, I was given a dispatcher, and like I said, hey, I want this load, and I was only with him for 5 or 6 trailers. And then I kind of got in trouble. By kind of, I mean yes. Actually almost got de-leased on like my 7th trailer. And while we wait for a couple comments to come in, story time. So, you guys have all heard the story about my 4th trailer, how the tailgate kind of did its thing, and yeah. Shortly after that, I grabbed a trailer going down to Murrieta, California, somewhere in California, and I then had to deadhead to Lake Elsinore to pick up my next one that was going up to Washington somewhere. So I drop and I'm on my way to Lake Elsinore, and there's just major construction. They have all these like fake, it was a major interchange that they were rebuilding, so they had all these fake roads that were like, my GPS was freaking out. Turn here, you're not on a road, blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to figure out where I am and where I need to get going, because I spent time down there. I was stationed there. I kind of know the freeways, but they had all these weird interchanges that were just like, oh, we'll just slap this concrete to join these two so you can interchange. And this semi, we kind of wound up battling for the same spot. I guess technically it was my fault because I couldn't see him until we were like right here. And I went and all that fun stuff. And I just took the first exit, got off the freeway, pulled into a Denny's, sat there, and just kind of like, what the heck just happened? A little bit freaked out. You know, I'm new to this thing, this commercial driving and whatnot, and I wasn't really. I looked at my log and it said I had 1 hour and 45 minutes left of drive time, and I went sweet, and I went in and sat down and got a cup of coffee, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna order a meal. So I ordered dinner, and I'm sitting there eating my dinner. I'm debating, do I just sleep here? Because I'm looking at this hotel right across the street from me, Motel 6. And I'm like, well, do I just sleep here? Or, you know, and get a fresh start in the morning, because I'm only like 50 minutes from Lake Elsinore. And had another cup of coffee, and I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'm just gonna get to Lake Elsinore. And I took off, and right as I'm pulling into the town, I noticed that, now again, I didn't have my ELD in my face, and that's my bad. I had it down in my change tray down here. I didn't have a mount to put it up. This is back when I had it on my phone, so I kept it right. I wound up putting it on this mount right here, right in front of my face, which, as you can see, like, it's right here. This is where the phone would sit. And I didn't have that mount at the time. But as I'm pulling in, I look and it says violation, and I went, oh crap. I just found the nearest hotel, dove in, shut the truck off, and I had gone over by 11 minutes. So that was my bad. Absolutely my fault. And they told me that I had to go to a safety training in Indiana, and I said, I just delivered in Washington. I'm doing a 34 reset in Idaho. You guys have a yard in Pendleton, so why can't I just do my safety training in Pendleton, since I live right, like, I'm 2 hours from it? Okay, fine. So I got in contact with the Pendleton office. They set me up, hey, pick up this trailer. It's going from Nampa to Seattle or whatever, somewhere in Washington. It's going to pass you right through. Come in with the trailer, you do your safety thing, and you'll get back on your way. Okay, cool. Grab the trailer, go in. And what happened? I explained the whole story with the semi and the Denny's and everything, and she goes, okay, so you had an oops. Here, sign this, you're good. Cool. You know, I appreciate someone who can look at a person and not see black and white. Like, it wasn't like I just went over, I had a thing and I was flustered, and it was my fault, but it wasn't like I'm going over on my hours. And she goes, why are you an Indiana driver? I said, I don't know. I told them I live in Idaho and they put me here. She goes, well, I'm going to move you over to our West Coast board and you're going to get this dispatcher. Now, very long way to get to this, but I have a bunch of comments to cover as well, is that's how I got this dispatcher, and she is amazing. I have zero complaints at all. By the way, Chris Corsa, thank you, good sir, for that super chat. Now, about brand, how much is the insurance? All right. Okay, so yes, Eugene, the 110, yes. And then I have my commercial insurance through the same company, so it's a combined bill. Because Geico does not do commercial insurance policies. Or at least that's what I was told by the Boise office representative I spoke to. Gotcha. Well, I will tell you, the Fusion is a much higher quality interior compared to the Raptor. I don't know if that means it's better, but it looks higher class. Herb, what's up with what? Herb? Herb. I know there's a delay. I'm just giving you a hard time. I have no other chats to talk about. I'm waiting for you guys to put something in there. I'm over here lonely, trying to entertain you. But you have to give me content to entertain you with. Oh. Oh, Ryan, welcome to the chat. I was waiting for you to make an appearance, you sick man. Well, that's not what I wanted you to do at all. A little bit more light in here. That's what I thought, Eugene, but when I said, hey, I need a commercial policy, they said, oh, we don't do that. Now, maybe that office doesn't do it. I don't know. But I canceled it right there on the spot and went over to Cottingham Butler or whatever, the Horizon one. Ah, Charles, thank you. That makes sense. You know, Ryan, I had actually a few people asking me about that Mexico trip we took in the other channel in the video. I wouldn't say it's little profit, Daryl. I wouldn't say it's little at all. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not living lavishly, but I'm very comfortable. Yeah, you and me both. I just don't have time. Like I've said before, my gross is on a really good week or month, 18, and I'm spending right about 2,000 in fuel. So 16. Take out your truck payment and your insurance. There you go. I'll let you decide if that's little profit. Heck, even on my worst month, I'm still 10 to 12 on my bad months. Again, 2 truck payment and insurance. I don't know if I'd call it little. I'm not doing anything special, Herb. I'm not, you know what I mean? I knew that when I got into this, I was going to work my tail off to do it. And whatever that meant it took me to do, that's what I was going to do. Oh, Ryan. Don't listen to him. I mean, the Viper truck does need headers, but don't listen to him. And that's the thing, Herb, that I've told everyone that's, well, how do I make money in this? You work. I burn out my 70-hour cycle in 6 days. Every time. That's how you make money doing this. And like I said in the last video, or the video before last, I get up, I take off, until that 11 hours gets to 6 or less, I don't stop. As soon as I stop, if the truck needs fuel, I fuel. If it doesn't, I just park. I do my 30. As soon as that thing crosses 30 minutes, I'm back on the road and I burn that drive time down to 0. No, and that's the thing, Daryl. Like, I know a lot of people who do this and they're just like, yeah, I do like a couple trailers a month. I'm like, well, that's why you're not making any money. I do a couple trailers a week and I'm from one end of the country to the other and back in a week. There's money here, you have to want it. I think, Daryl, you and I we're saying the same things, bud. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm hearing from a lot of people, Charles, is that it sounds like Horizon has a better backload system. And so maybe I just got lucky. Like I told all of you, I didn't go out looking for Horizon to hire with them. I put in applications with Team RV Express, who still emails me every month to see if I want to come work for them. I put out for Indiana Transport and Bennett and Synergy, all of them. I shot my information out to everyone. And Horizon was the last company to get back to me, but they were the company that could get me into orientation the quickest. That's the only reason I work for Horizon. Now, I'm not upset, and I have no desire to leave Horizon for another company at all. I have zero complaints. I'm very happy. But the only reason I started was they were the first company that was going to get me into orientation. Yeah, well, for those of you that don't catch every video, there's a couple hundred for you to catch up on. Terry, the only complaint I have is I'm gone from home a lot, really, which I knew was going to happen with this job. I'm used to it from being in the military, so it's really nothing new. I don't have a complaint, honestly. My dispatcher is great. I have no complaints from the company. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but like when Ford really irked me, y'all saw it on the video. I'm not gonna hold my tongue. If I'm upset, you're gonna know. Yes, that's exactly what I was getting to earlier, Eugene. So I got sidetracked. Hey, Mark, thank you. I try and put out good content. No, the repo doesn't happen often. I've done it, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. I was in the Corps. I did 12 years in the Corps. So Eugene, yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier with my north to south. I don't care as long as I'm going east. When I leave my house, I know my goal is Goshen, Indiana. And I don't care what I have to do to get to Goshen, I'm getting to Goshen. If that means one trailer and, you know, like just this one I just did. I did one trailer, less than a full day of deadhead, back. I've done 4 trailers where I go, do a reset, pick up, take off. I don't care how I get there, but minimizing deadhead, and if that means I go north-south 3 or 4 times before I finally make it, fine. Because guess what? All those north-souths, I'm getting paid for, so I don't care. If I'm gone for 3 weeks because I have to north-south my way, do a reset, north-south my way, do a reset, go home, fine. Dave, Phoenix, whatever you want to go by. Let's see, does this work? Hey, that's a little better. Yeah? All right, the sun's going down, by the way, people. That's awesome. I hope you have a similar experience to me and you enjoy it. The only place I encounter tolls, because I very rarely go past Indiana, so the only toll I deal with is one in Illinois, and I just get online and pay it. Yes, you can, actually. From what I'm being told, I can't verify this, I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like Horizon is partnered with this enterprise lease program, and I guess they get some sort of discount where it's like 19 cents a mile instead of 5 or whatever. I don't know. I can't say that's 100% certain, but it is what I'm hearing from several people. All right, guys, fair warning, I will be shutting this down in a few minutes because I get up at 3 a.m. and take off. So we are going to start wrapping up here in just a few minutes, just so y'all are aware and we don't have a very abrupt ending like the other time when, my bad. With your fuel discount, what is the average price per gallon? Average, again, that's average by state. In Indiana and Illinois, $2. Out here in Nebraska, Wyoming, $1.50. You get more in the east, $1.10. I've seen under $1 in a few places. Horizon will accept 5 years old. I have heard you can get a waiver if they're, hey, I got this 1999 or 2005 or whatever, but it's only got 30,000 miles on it. It was some old man's truck. He drove it, whatever. And they'll inspect the truck, and then they may or may not let it on. I'm not sure if that's true. That's something I've been told. Yes, Herb, the wind is supposed to die. Actually, probably dead-ish now. Yeah. The wind is very minimal right now, and it's supposed to remain that way throughout tomorrow, and I think we should have a good trip. Yeah? Daryl, thank you, good sir. I think this is the most productive live I've done. So, we will... Again, I'm growing and learning with both of you, both in the RV and the YouTube thing. I'm new to all this. So, we're figuring out what works and what doesn't. Definitely putting it out in the video that we were going to do it, that you guys kind of pick a time. Ultimately, it's my channel. I'm going up when I want, but I kind of took input from you guys and saw what made sense coast to coast for everyone. This seemed very productive. We've had outstanding response in the chat. And then putting it in the video, putting it on Instagram twice just because the wind got really bad. I think that helped, and we kind of have a pattern moving forward how to continue to grow this. So out freaking standing. Did get some barbecue. I couldn't tell where it was from. So really, since we're kind of winding down here, really quick story. James, if you didn't see on the other channel, as soon as I shut the camera off there, I turned it back on and started filming my 34 because we were, the MC was standing up a new chapter there in Missouri, and that's why I was there. And the local guys there were from Kansas City, and they said, we need to have this company cater, and I couldn't tell you what company that was that they had cater. Don't remember, I apologize. But it was out flipping standing. It was delicious barbecue. Thank you, Eugene. You be safe as well, my friend. All right, boys and girls. That's going to do it for this one, unless I get a comment pop up before I get my closing comments out. So, as always, those of you out on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care and have a great night. I use windy for the weather.